this Nigeria right about now, which is also saying the same thing. Is it the presidency alone that is a political seat in this country?
No, you know, there's something we call dominoes effect.
Yeah.
So when it hits one, it gets, you know, the back of card just, you know, fall through. But all the things they've been talking about is to unseat the president, as you've said. And you'll now be asking, is the president the problem of Nigeria? This is someone who was taking a position, a mandate that is given to him by Nigerians, saying that yes, we needed to fix this country because of the, you know, the economy being in shambles over the years, and then it takes time for you to fix them. But if you look at the political heavyweight or juggernauts that have come together, where the like of Atiku, Obi, El-Rufai, David Mark, etc., you'll be asking the question, where have they been? Yes, we know Obi has been in the news. Atiku, you know, one way or the other. This time, I think he's trying to no, I don't want to go back to my base. You know, is he in Dubai or somewhere? You know. Because after election, he's been accused of always, you know, retreating back to his cocoon. But one thing is, the question we would now be asking ourselves. Now, the plan is to unseat the incumbent party. Now, if you've unseated the incumbent party, if you're able to do that, what are the plans? What are the policy, you know, plans, the economic reforms that you thinking you bring into the table? Because every one of them, Atiku, Obi, Kwakonso, they all said, we will remove the fuel subsidy. But these same people now come back and say, no, you have removed the fuel subsidy. Why do you have to remove it? It is causing problem. But you all agree that it is not going to be, you know, easy peasy when the fuel subsidy is being removed.
Indeed. And Ria, you know, it keeps beating my imagination. Because when you look at the persons who make up this coalition itself, these are political bigwigs who are also deep pockets in their own right.
Really?
Must you become a political office holder? I mean them now to be able to bring, if at all there's any kind of changes they want to bring in the country. They are people who have held political positions at one time or the other, because these are old guys in the game.
Yes,
must you then come back to hold a political position to be able to bring a change?
And I tell you something, these are old people in new clothes. That's how I call them.
They don't even have new clothes.
Because if you look at
you'd be surprised they wear new clothes every day.
No, I mean
not literally,
I mean,
by the way.
We say that the party is new, but these are old people. We already know these people.
Yeah.
And like you've rightly said, these people, talk of someone that wrote to me, Amechi, like that has been in power for a very long time. These people have held like really big political positions. But the question is, what did they do when they did that? Now they're gathering together. We see that. We want opposition. We love it. We've been saying it on this table a lot of times that we need opposition to do something because we are practicing democracy in Nigeria. But my problem, like Veronica said and Ibrahim said, the only reason I'm saying is to unseat. El-Rufai actually said it on TV that, you know, whatever it is, I just want to take this president off. You know, without saying that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to implement. That's my only problem. I'm not seeing any implementation. They're saying this is what they want to do. All I'm seeing is that we need to take this certain person off stage. And I was reading comments on social media yesterday. I'm not going to lie, they are looking strong, but at the end of the day, it's a new party. I want to see if they will stand the test of time. Because right now, ADC, everybody's making noise, Like, let's give them a few months to election and see if they are still standing the test of time.
Are they really strong?
Well, on social media, with the amount of people we're seeing, the personalities we're seeing, you know, people are like, well, with the amount of personalities we're seeing.
And Vero, this is the same thing on the Punch, Leadership, Daily Independent as well. So if we can get to the Guardian newspaper, I just want us to see their faces because all of them have been collated there on the Guardian newspaper. Last night on Politics Tonight, we had one of the members of the ADC who is averse to Mark being the chairman of the party, Kachiku. You know, and one of the things he said, which was very instructive to me, was that political parties in Nigeria have no ideology. It's just a platform. And so I'm wondering, Vero, is the ADC part of just being a platform? Because you talked about earlier that what are they going to actually do that is different? I was thinking they should be selling a different ideology to Nigerians. Maybe we'll begin to buy into what they're talking about.
And hanging on that, maybe you just said, maybe they are still thinking about the ideology they are going to bring and build this new coalition on. Maybe 2027 is still far from this time, but then planning has begun in earnest. And if you are coalescing, then it means that you have an idea on what you want to hinge your plans and you're coalescing on. I am waiting to see that. Now, do these people still have the political capital? Do they still have that social capital that they can build on? A lot of people are suspicious of their intentions and these people because they have a history.
That's right.
Nigerians have not forgotten that. And so if you are changing cloak and shifting grounds on the basis of I am angry with Ibrahim, for instance, then it means that you haven't really dealt with you. You are only, maybe you just powdered your face and you want to show me it. When the heat hits that foundation that you rubbed on your face, we will see the true you at the end of the day. But it's still within their rights. They are doing all of these things. I'm just saying the major issue here for me is that Nigerians, what are you learning from all that is happening in our political space?
That's right.
That's so if you, carry on.
Ibrahim, I wanted us to talk about David Mark as the chairman of this new coalition party. He's been some kind of silent for a while, and then all of a sudden, voila.
Yeah, so the reason they gave for his emergence as chairman is that each time they had meetings, he had always been the one sitting on the high table, so to speak, and the rest of them, sit as if they are in the National Assembly. So he called the shot.
Okay.
So they felt, you've assumed, de facto leadership of this party just for the time being, and then we will now have the leader of the party that will be the chairman of the party. But you mentioned maybe Kachuku, who was the presidential candidate in 2023 of that same party. He said he was not even consulted, and that these people came through the back door. So coming through the back door, reflect on the transparency and the integrity, so to speak, of these people, questioning their character. That why didn't they come through the front door and then they have a conversation, or they face it head on during the primaries and see who will emerge? Because he's saying that we need fresh blood. We need to he's even saying that I'm not even speaking for APC because of course I'm an opposition myself. But if you want to do things, do it right. Now look at these pictures. He said we should go to the Guardian. If you look at this picture, when he was governor of Kaduna State, crisis upon crisis, the Southern Kaduna killings and everything. Now we have a new governor. There is seeming peace. We are not really.
I've been there twice under Governor Obama.
Exactly. Look at Rauf Aregbesola. We saw what the fallout between him and his principal, who is now the president of the country. The journalist, we see Melaye, Rotimi Amechi, Atiku. These are the same people.
It's I like Dino.
A fusion. It's like a fusion of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So what is the point?
And somebody said Dino has just gotten a new job because this is what he likes to do. So he just got a new position.
Dino gives us vibes, and I like the guy.
He's been idle for a while. Yeah. So right now he's geared up for some activity.
He's in the ring now.
But I wonder, I just wish them well.
Maria, I wanted to ask you, what becomes of the PDP now? Because all of these guys are coming from the PDP.
No, but we've said
a majority of them.
The majority of them are for PDP. I don't think PDP is still standing strong as a party, if we are honest. With this new ADC and having a lot of people from PDP moving, to ADC, where does PDP stand?
No, they say they will still come back to PDP.
They'll still come back to PDP.
The issue for me is, how is it that people swept you out of your house like that easily? It means you're not strong.
They were weak. The foundation was weak for them.
I mean.
We wait to see exactly what becomes of this new coalition and any other coalition around the country.
Right,
But let's talk about insecurity now, Veronica. This is on the Daily Trust. In a reprisal attack, gunmen killed 15 persons in Sokoto, and they actually have a picture right there of some of the things that happened. And I see a man arrested after sneaking into bank to hack systems. The conversation around insecurity. Maybe this is part of why coalition is coaliting,
No, we have an array of issues that we have to deal with, like every other country around the world. Talk about security challenges. You find that even in the US and all of it.
That's right.
So it means that we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to addressing these issues and addressing them head on. We have talked about having state policing to addressing this matter, and as where we are right now, it seems the state governors are not willing to take responsibility regarding that, because this conversation should have moved past where it is standing right now. They are the chief security officers of the state who should champion the cause of ensuring that we fast track matters around state policing to addressing every other matter that we are seeing. Yesterday we talked about the guy that was found in the bank, and we said that there must be someone within that must have allowed him have access to do whatever it is he did. So whatever banks must ensure that customers' monies, their data is safe as much as possible, so they need to do better. Indeed. We all need to do better as a country, as a people, better we need to do.
And Ibrahim, let me take you to the platform times. We see something different right there. NMA rejects FG's new salary circular, and they've issued 21-day ultimatum over poor welfare and unmet agreements. This sounds like ASU in NMA.
Yeah, definitely. The Nigerian Medical Association, you know, they've always had issues with, you know, when it comes to the issue of salary, you know, saying that there are unmet agreements, because one thing is, by the time you're employed into a particular office, or let's say, you know, taking a position as an employee of the government in this case, there are certain agreements, there are certain things that are benefits that are supposed to come to you, and they feel they're like, what you're putting on the table is not the same thing that you promised. Looking at the prevailing economic situations, how can you be, you know, giving us, you know, this paltry sum according to them? So one thing is, I think they should be, the federal government should meet them, you know, maybe not round table this time, whatever form of the table that they're going to be sitting at, they should meet them halfway, so that they address the issue. Because by the time they go on strike, we know the impact of this.
That's right.
People are seeking.
They play a major role in this country.
So we do not want to have lives lost again in this country.
And just to quickly add to that, these people play a very vital role. So if they go on strike, it's not going to be good. I really hope that this roundtable can be held immediately. Yeah. And also, the monies we pay these people, there's nothing to write home about.
Absolutely not. And while we stay on economy, Ria, on the News Direct, which is where we're going to next now, IMF is advising, I'd say, the federal government to, you know, review the 2025 budget, and they're warning against fiscal vulnerability. We need to come to the point where what we budget is what we spend, and not go beyond that, and mostly also look inwards for improved, you know, local manufacturing, which is one of the ways to boost our economy. What do you think about this?
Oftentimes we said a lot on this table that, you know, it's now buy Nigeria, it's now do more Nigeria, but at the end of the day we speak about it and it doesn't go cross, you know, it just stays in one place. And it's so sad to see that this is happening, because if this happens, it's going to be a big problem as well. Nigerians are definitely going to suffer it. And talking about budgeting, we spoke about budget on this table as well. Oftentimes what we budget is either is less, it's either is more. At what time would there be accountability when we talk about budgeting?
And Vero, if I would take you on the ride of this story, they're forecasting a 3.4% economic growth for Nigeria in 2025. So they are saying this is what might be, but you need to ensure that that happens, because if you don't guide this well, you might not see it.
Of course, they will always make forecast that we will do what we need. We will do what we need to do, but whatever way we want to see it, we should ensure that we are more than just a consuming nation, but we are a producing nation, and we can strengthen Naira and also improve the economy. That, for me, is the bottom line. I don't want us listening to these people all the time. Let's focus on, let's look inward. Let's have solutions, homegrown solutions to addressing our economic challenges and every other challenge that we have. I mean, and just build. That's the bottom line.
It's just simple economics.
Very
build.
Produce and sell so you can improve your revenue.
Absolutely.
And the sporting life is where we're going to next. And thankfully, Ibrahim, who is a spotter.
With the sports? Are you trying to put me on the spot?
Exactly, I am. AC Milan is eyeing Aina here, Ibrahim. You know, for a while we kept seeing Osimhen, my guy.
No, Osimhen, the super guy.
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to reach out to him actually. But was it now also on the line here, being eyed by AC Milan?
Absolutely. You know, when a club is eyeing a certain player, you know that the player is actually delivering. And one thing that that's quite interesting for me, in this story is the fact that he's a Nigerian, and then you are having this international club, looking towards Nigerians. We were used to talking about Osimhen, we talk about Olaino, we talk about the guy that just came out of surgery.
I can't remember.
Yeah, so one of our own. So it goes to show that we are not just exporting some people out of the country, but we're exporting talents who are doing fantastically well.
Absolutely.
As these guys are, making the kill out there, let them also look backward and say, yes, we want to, give back to
like
the
what
nation
Econ, even though Econ is
assisting
not
us to lift the cup.
Yeah,
National cup.
Even though Econ is not a footballer, but he's been doing quite a lot.
Absolutely.
To help his community.
For Olaino, he's a defensive player, and the AC Milan just want to improve their defense and have options. And so they are looking for him because they want to ensure that they maintain their position as a club, defensive-wise and all of it, whatever measures. And Olaino has played in the Serie A Torino, I think, between 2023 and 2018 and 2023. So he's been doing a lot, and they feel that, yes, he's that candidate that can fill that space.
Before we eye the audience, before we eye our viewers this morning, I am looking to be eyed as well.
Everybody is being eyed. We need to move now quickly, guys. At the top of the hour, we are interrupting our live breakfast broadcast on DSTV and GoTV to bring you updates from Katsina State. Catch the rest of the show on our YouTube channel and other platforms. But still to come. Will the coalition's unity be enough to unseat President Tinubu in his re-election bid? Join us after. Thank you for staying with us. Nigeria's opposition coalition has officially adopted the African Democratic Congress, that's the ADC, as its political platform to challenge President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 general election. The coalition includes prominent political figures such as Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, and Rotimi Amechi. Speaking at the unveiling, Aregbesola described the coalition's vision as one rooted in internal democracy, inclusivity, social justice, and grassroots participation. Political analysts say the adoption of ADC signals a turning point in opposition strategy and a move that could reshape Nigeria's political landscape. Well, joining us via Zoom from Melbourne, Australia, is political affairs analyst, media practitioner, and CEO 9 Communications, Obinna Ejanya. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Great.
It's my pleasure to partake.
It's our pleasure to have you join us. Great. Now, let's begin with the matters of this coalition, what you make of it, especially the fact that a majority of Nigerians have been hearing them talk about is the matter of unseating the president, and not necessarily what they intend to do for Nigerians. Is this move, from your perspective, in the interest of Nigeria and our democracy, or is this just a personal ambition?
Of course, it's a personal ambition to start with. And before I proceed, I would like to appreciate the opportunity to speak on this program. It's a personal ambition, as you can see, that Nigerian politics is more of personal gain than the sacrifice for the people. So it's for their personal gain anyway. So we just want to start watching to see how it plays out. But so far, I don't see much difference in what is going on, the formation of the coalition.
Right. So if you look at critics, they've actually argued that the coalition is a group of disgruntled party men. Talk about Peter Obi, Atiku, name them, David Mark, etc., and that they are not ideologues. They do not have clear ideology. So one thing is, Dumebi Kachuku, who was a presidential candidate, former presidential candidate of that same party, saying that these people do not possess anything when it comes to transparency. And how do you think they can convince Nigerians that they are not angry, they are not disgruntled, they are actually coming for the purpose of good governance, and not as a group of the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, of course, these are people who have same purpose, and their main purpose, as you can see, is to unseat the sitting president, and that is the main purpose. So they have a purpose, a well-defined purpose and interest. However, the issue that I may be concerned to talk about is what strength or what weight has that coalition to, what difference is going to make during the election that's coming in 2027. Having said that, it also perhaps, if I feel saddened in a way that right now what we're talking about is 2027 election. I think Nigeria has, which is obviously 2 years or thereabouts away from today, and we have many other pressing needs. Why are we so exerting our efforts so much on 2027 election now? Seeing how things are going in Nigeria, I think what we should focus on is, getting headway for the country in terms of security, in terms of economic issues, and probably support the president to harness his policies. And of course, I know that this coalition emanated from the aspect, the aspect that there has not been a viable opposition party in existence anymore, given that PDP has been in disarray, and Labour Party, which is a very young party, lacking, solid structure to be able to exert adequate opposition that could balance governance in Nigeria. Because the work of the opposition here in Australia, we call it, they form a shadow government. If you have Minister of Defense in the ruling party, in the opposition party, you have a shadow Minister of Defense who also try to make constructive criticism and make sure that the executive are navigating through the progressive path for the country. So I think I think this opposition is just because we have no viable opposition party. That's why they're now coming up to build a coalition, which for me is a kind of confusion and misguided effort for now, being that Nigeria needs more than that at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. You just took the words out of my mouth. We are experiencing so many things in Nigeria: insecurity, hunger, go on and so forth. But these are the reasons why these people have gathered together and said, we just want to unseat this particular person. Now, these people we're talking about, they've also held big political positions. And while they were on seats, what did they really do? Now, my question is, do you think that Nigerians can even have hope in these people or trust these people and their movement?
For me personally, they are birds of the same feathers as far as I am concerned, and having kind of, my personal opinion, which is not coming from any affiliation to political people or parties. So I think they are all birds of the same feather, being that most of them have the same background. Most of them have the same background, except that at a point in time they had different interests and then had separated and then now coming together I think they're not coming from different sources as well.
You know, when I look at what has happened thus far and the lot of, should I use the word, running arounds that is going on in our political sector in this country, I'm really wondering exactly what the real intent is. Apart from what they've talked about, that they want to unseat the current, president, which they have their right to unseat anyone if they can do that democratically through elections. But I'm looking at these men who have come together to form a new party, not really new, by the way, ADC, and what they're trying to pursue. Do you see something different about them that hadn't been there before, as men who have been in politics for quite a long time? Are you seeing anything different?
There's nothing different, personally, in my view. There's nothing much different because all of them have their, trajectories and their personnel and political trajectories as well, and what they stood for and what they have done in terms of governance. So those things are there. However, what I see is, in 2023 election, President Tinubu emerged the winner because there was division among these people. So I think right now they are coming to the realization that had we not divided our interests, had we put all we have in one basket, we could have put a bigger trigger.
So
I think
let me add to that then.
Is what is.
Let me add to that. If you're not seeing anything different about them, what would you then make of their chances come 2027?
The chances, like what I was saying, is that I foresee the differences that made them in the first place to pitch differently in 2023 are still living in them. They still have that differences, even though they may come together physically. But I see division because you remember PDP was thriving on this ideology of rotational policy, which they trampled on in 2023. They disregarded that zoning system, and that created a lot of confusion among the PDP. And that this coalition, the larger majority of them are people of PDP backgrounds. So I think those sentiments that caused them not to be able to unite in 2023 is still resident in them, is still in existence. And I will see this coalition being, having a kind of contention as well. And then you see the major person that the Nigerians are looking up to, I would say, is Peter Obi in that coalition. That's the major person that people can say, okay, we have Peter Obi that we can look at in this coalition. And but then, how are we sure that these people who are gathering now will give Peter Obi all that he needs? Even though there may be promises right now, but I don't see, because they still have that, personal interest.
All right. Now, so if I hear you correctly, all they are trying to do is to use Peter Obi as a tool to achieving their aim, because he seemingly seems to have a strong following. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm asserting. That the whole thing is circling around Peter Obi, because that is the person that they want to, because Atiku would think that if I had pitched with P2B, or P2B would be thinking, if I had pitched with Atiku, and would have made a difference. So I think that is what is, breeding this coalition right now.
So what then?
But I don't see that unism. I don't see that unity being maintained, sustainable. The unity may not be sustained, come 2027. There may be other chaos even before then. And as you have seen that there may be Kachuku or someone like that, you have seen there's already confusion in this ADC party.
Right.
So I think any effort to put confusion in that new formation may even catastrophe more confusions.
I am wondering then what happens to some other groups who are looking to get INEC's approval. We hear of an obedient party and some other person. I'm wondering what would happen to them, and what this coalition, from your perspective, will be doing to the PDP, which is supposed to be a viable opposition that we have, and we see a number of them moving grounds now to the ADC. They had said that because of the 2023 election, they have been unable to recover. And I'm wondering, shouldn't they have just learnt their lessons, gathered themselves, and move on, as against just, coming together with another group of persons to coalesce?
Yeah, you made a point there. So I would have advised, if I had my take, which I will still anyway. So I would have said, why don't you guys consolidate, like the PDP people, members, let them consolidate, let them rebuild the party, at least give Nigeria a viable opposition party that could also check and balance what the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is doing, so that by so doing, Nigeria will get a better dividend of democracy. But if they're just chasing 2027 right now and grouping and regrouping and grouping and regrouping, that will further divide the political sentiment and create more confusion. And at the end of the day, what I stand for is the life of the better life of average Nigeria, because they are the people bearing the brunt of all this confusion from our political elites. So what I would personally say is, why don't you guys, kind of rebuild your homes? Let a Labour Party, maintain their status quo, come together, rebuild their party, let PDP rebuild their party. But I think they are reminiscing the what happened in, was it 2015, where you saw a coalition that produced President Bola Buhari. It came this way. I think they are trying to replicate that, but it may not work this time.
So, looking at the essence of this coalition, where we have people coming from different political backgrounds, Peter Obi from the Labour Party, Atiku from the PDP, you had already said that it could be that they are banking on Peter Obi's large following, and that resonates with what Festus Keyamo, Minister of Aviation, who is a member of the incumbent party, that they shouldn't make the mistake of not fielding Peter Obi as the sole candidate as the presidential candidate for the 2027. Otherwise, the party will fail. But Atiku has been someone who had wanted to be president, and he's saying that he will definitely be president one day, probably by prophecy or anything. Do you feel that this would not lead to internal wrangling? Because these people are saying that we want to rescue Nigeria from the economic hardship. And how do you position their claims, their reasons for coming together, vis-a-vis that of the APC, that they want to rescue Nigeria? Do you think Nigeria actually is in dire straits with this current administration?
Yeah, what I say, like I said before, is that the difference that existed in 2023 is still existing right now in those people that are gathering to form coalition. That's what I said earlier, that because of that, it will be another, confusion, because they still have their personal interests and aspirations. For example, like the person you mentioned, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he wants to be president, and his personality is that one that will think twice. If he will think that he wants to condescend to be the vice president to Peter Obi. He wouldn't do that. And because of that, there may be still kind of division among them as time goes on, even before 2027. So that is even the major reason why I said that the coalition may be another just a saga or a stage of our political trajectory that didn't bear fruit. So because all of them, they have different interests. Like you asked me earlier, is it for personal interest? And I said yes. They have their personal interests that surpass the interest of the country as it should be. The interest of the country should be the prima uno, but it's not in this context. So because of that, individual interest may have a clash of the party interest or Nigerians' interest. And once that happens, that purpose to unseat the president may be mad or unrealistic.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that they're counting on Peter Obi's numbers. But the thing is that also Peter Obi is not a baby. He should know when he's in a place where where they are going to use him or he may be used. So I don't want him to look like or make it seem like he's a victim. But now my problem is, which you mentioned earlier on, who will step down for who? It's obvious that Atiku will not allegedly be the vice to Peter Obi. Now we're still seeing that more chaos will happen. But what I feel is that don't they need to do more in convincing people to go and vote for them rather than just say want to unseat this particular president? Do they need to do more in terms of this is what we're going to do in infrastructure, this is what we're going to do in terms of agri education and so on?
Yeah. So like you mentioned, if in fact I'm gonna release an article soon, which I will advise people to be personal advice, not because I like him anyway. But I will advise him not to waste his energy and resources in this 2027 because there's difference between storm and tsunami. So there's a tsunami ahead of this 2027, and I will advise people to just dodge it. Indeed. And give himself a rest. He still has years ahead.
And let me take you up on that. I quite frankly like where you've gone to, because that's where I wanted to actually take you as well. You are a Nigerian based in Australia, and a concerned one at that. That's why, again, you are here to talk to us this morning. But would you be galvanizing Nigerians, or are you working with Nigerians in diaspora, maybe in Australia, to vote for a particular party or a candidate? Are you, canvassing for anyone?
As you know, I'm a media personality. I'm a journalist. I am not partisan. I'm not a politician yet.
But you're going to advise. You're going to advise Obi not to play this next election.
Yeah, from my own personal analysis, because I was talking with a colleague the other day. I said the way I look at Nigerian politics is just the way you look at your aquarium in your sitting room. The aquarium, has semblance of a sea, lake, or river, where you have aquatic animals living there, and you have a similitude of animal. Plants, aquatic plants, but it's not actually that big. When you're looking at, like I like having an aquarium, and I have one. So sometimes I just start looking at the fish, that as they're playing, as they're feeding, as they do the same thing in big water. So that's the way I look at Nigeria. Nigerian politics, I look at it from a very, a small spectrum. So right. I see what's going on.
All right. So let's quickly talk about one very important aspect of our democracy and election, which is the people. We are seemingly not focusing on them. We are just looking at the personalities that are playing in the space as it is. From your perspective, what should the people be learning at this point, and what should be perhaps their orientation towards the 2027 election?
Okay, if I have to be candid and fair to myself and my conscience, what I would say, what I would advise Nigerians is to pray and support the current president. This is my sincere opinion, which some of my associates may not buy that opinion, but I have my say. And God knows I'm very, very sincere in whatever I'm saying.
So tell us why.
I have nothing. Yeah. So I would like Nigerians, because Tinubu has emerged the president, and there is beyond contention anymore. And what we have at the end of the day is we need people to live a good life. I want Nigerians to have a good life. That's why I'm involved in Nigerians' politics. I'm not a politician, but trying to shape the things through my, verbal contributions and all that. So, because at the end of the day, when the country is economically in bad shape, that breeds criminality, breeds insecurity, and everyone will, suffer from it, no matter how rich you are. If you can't, freely go about when you are in Nigeria, then in one way or the other you are affected. So I personally, I try to let Nigerians know that because we have Tinubu as the head of state or president, we need to support him. We need to, that is why I'm even clamoring for a vibrant opposition party that can check and balance, that can make constructive criticism and help the president to navigate the right path, to go through the right path. And because at the end of the day, it's just the people that suffer if things go wrong. And I really cry and yearn for Nigeria that works for everyone. So that is why I think Nigerians should right now, because you've seen the type of politics we play in Nigeria. Tinubu should not by now should not be focusing on 2027 election, but should be focusing on, making things right and making the people have a good life, improving the economy, improving the insecurity that is ravaging everywhere, every quarter, every part, zones in Nigeria, south, west, east, north, wherever you talk of, there's insecurity everywhere. People are dying every day. The people are dying. So I want them to support the president to focus on those things.
Obinna,
make things to
our
work.
time is up, unfortunately, but you have made several points I believe whoever is watching would want to fist off later on. Thank you so much, Obinna Ijanya, political affairs analyst, media practitioner, and CEO of 9 Communications, for your time on the program.
It's my pleasure, and I thank you for inviting me, and I'm ready for next one.
All right. At the top of the hour, we are interrupting our live breakfast broadcast on DSTV and GoTV to bring you updates from Katsina State. Catch the rest of the show on our YouTube channel and other platforms. Still ahead, the battle begins as the ADC unveils its interim leaders to challenge.
Excellency, may we remain standing. Of course, this event is women talking. So, Your Excellency, men have little or no option than to stand for the women. So, Your Excellency, permit me to invite for the Women's National Anthem, the DG. DG, are you ready? In solidarity to all women, Thank you so much. Your Excellency, this is beautiful. The women boys is hard. Your Excellency, the Governor of Katsina State and Chairman, Northwest Governors Forum, Madam Diko Maradda, PhD, CON, Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Your Excellency, the Governor of Jigawa State, ably represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Engineer Aminu Usman Gumel, FNSC, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Honorable Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, FSI, the Honorable Special Assistant to Mr. President on Women Affairs, Hajia Fatima Farooq Abubakar, the World Bank Country Director, Mr. Matthew Varghese, my very good friend, Mr. Michael Elisami, TTL, Nigeria for Women Project. Your Excellency, TTL means Team Leader, Team Tax Leader, Nigeria for Women Project. Mr. Michael, you're welcome. Your Excellency, the Honorable Commissioners representing their Excellencies, the Governors of Kaduna, Ogun, Kano, and Gombe State, the Host Commissioner of Women Affairs, Honorable Commissioner, the host, Hajia Hadiza Abubakar Yaradua, the Honorable Commissioners of Women Affairs, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Jigawa State, the Chief of Staff Government House, Honorable Nasir, Abdulkadir Nasir, members of the State Executive Council here present, chairmen and other chief executive officers of various departments and agencies, head of security agencies here present, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry for Women Affairs, Katsina State, Ulas Akanin Kalluba, Dr. Nura Murtala, the Permanent Secretary representing Niger State, Ministry for Women Affairs, members of the women affinity groups, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the praised security agents, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellencies, we are here today for a very unique event, that is the flag off of Nigeria for Women Project Summit, Northwest region, taking place in this Presidential Banquet Hall, Government House, Katsina. Your Excellency, women already have voice in Katsina State. Please give her a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Your Excellencies, please permit me to stand on all existing protocol due to time. It gives me great joy to welcome you all to Katsina State for the Nigeria for Women Project Scale-Up Summit. I sincerely thank the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and the World Bank for their leadership, vision, and unwavering support for this project. The Federal Ministry of Women Affairs has been at the forefront of designing policies and frameworks that guide the implementation of this project across the country. The World Bank, as a technical and financial partner, has played a crucial role in bringing this vision to life. Through their resources, their expertise, and commitment to inclusive development, the World Bank has supported states in building systems that enable women to organize, save, access credit, and grow their businesses. Without their support, the project would not have reached the structure it has today. It is through the strong collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and the World Bank that we are gathered here today, and not just to discuss ideas, but to move this shared vision forward with practical actions that will make a real difference in the lives of women, not only in Katsina State, in the country as a whole. This summit is not just a conference, it's a call to action, a call for all of us to come together as leaders, as development partners, as advocates for progress and peace. A call for us to ask, how can we do better? How can we make sure the Nigeria for Women project, it's not just a policy on paper, but a tool for real transformation. The Nigeria for Women Scale-Up project comes at a very critical time across the country, especially here in the northern Nigeria, where women are asking for more sympathy. They're being asked to be listened to and to be guided and to be given platform to thrive. They're asking for opportunities, for skills, for support, and for space to lead and grow. They're asking to be seen and to be heard. We have seen what is possible from the states like Niger, Kebbi, and Ogun that are leading this effort. These states have shown that with strong political will and community engagement, the Nigeria for Women project can change lives. Let us learn from these examples as we work to strengthen our efforts in Katsina State. One key issue that we must pay attention to is funding. Women-led cooperatives and small businesses cannot grow without access to finance. Many women have the discipline to manage resources. What they need is access, platform, and trust. We must engage financial institutions, microfinance banks, and other partners to create solutions that are practical and inclusive. For too long, society has told women what they cannot do. But we have seen that when women are given a chance, they lead with strength, they lead with compassion, and they have good end results. It is time to change the stories that we tell. It is time to raise our children to believe that gender does not define value. Let us not forget inclusion. When we talk about women, we must think of the rural women, the vulnerable, the young, the disabled women, widows, women displaced by conflict. Every woman counts. As we begin this summit, let us remember why we're here. We are here to build a future where no woman is left behind. We are here to find solutions that will strengthen our region. Most importantly, we are here because of His Excellency Malam Duko Umarada for keying into this project, for keying into whatever it takes to uplift women in the rural communities, and for being passionate about giving women such as myself the power and the platform to lead with change. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you, and I wish everyone a safe journey back home. Thank you.
State, Honorable Amina Abdullahi Sani. Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Social Development, Zamfara State. Honorable Aisha MZ, Anka. Your Excellency, you also have Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs from Kaduna State. Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Jigawa State. Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs, Gombe State. Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Ogun State. They have not arrived, but they will join us in the afternoon, Your Excellency. Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Niger State. She has not yet, in person of Matthew Bagis, to deliver his remarks. And he is being represented by the TTL, Michael Ilasemi. You are welcome. May we welcome him, please.
Women! Women! Your Excellency, permit me to stand on existing protocol. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, the host of this summit, Your Excellencies, Jigawa and Zamfara State Governors, represented by the Deputy Governors, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, who's the champion for this program. Are part of it. And pretty much everywhere we go to, Argungu, you know, anywhere, you find the emirs, you find the, the traditional rulers, their wives are actually part of the women affinity groups. And so, this program has been accepted across board, from, the lowest to the highest. And that's why we have today, not only is this program being celebrated in communities, it's also being celebrated, at the highest, levels of government. So that, I think, for me as a Nigerian, first and foremost, but also as a bank, TTL for this operation, gladdens my heart. And Your Excellency, I stand bold to say that this is going to be one of the biggest legacies of your administration. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, with your permission, I wish to stand on existing protocol. The Commissioner for Budget and the Commissioner for Budget is supposed to represent my governor. He's actually on his way. He just had problems with the flight that was supposed to bring him to Katsina. However, I will say something, being the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Kebbi State, and we are having a scale up, like you know, on the little I know since the time I came on board as the Commissioner for the Women Affairs on Nigeria for Women project in Kebbi State. Project implementation of the Nigeria for Women program in Kebbi State. Nigeria for Women project operated in 3 local governments of Kebbi State: Argungu, Mayama, and Ingaski. Issuers. Each collective is fully constructed and equipped with the required machines and equipment based on GEM, parboiling technology, to scale up the women's production capacity. Increased income, contributing to sustainable livelihoods across the benefiting communities and the state as large, also of economic benefit to the state. So in essence, the Kebbi State has benefited. That is why our able governor did not waste time to re-register for a scale-up, and he has also contributed the required counterpart funding for Kebbi State to continue on the scale-up with the Nigeria for Women project. Thank you, everyone.
I'm Deputy Governor, female, and they are doing well for the female in Kaduna State.
No woman, empower the woman. I was below, so ignore the women and ignore your vote. I was below in the Shedani regime, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, sir, I beg to stand on the already existing protocol because of the time. It is an honor and privilege for me to stand here before you to read the speech of His Excellency Senator Malam Obasani. This initiative is a beacon of hope for thousands of women across Northwest and Nigeria at large, have stimulated the beneficiaries and livelihood programs where 17,000 women have benefited from the Kadi Cares of 50,000 naira cash for 3 months. Shelter homes are under construction in 3 geopolitical zones, while we still have the biggest shelter in Africa that have 100-bed capacity for women and girls in the state, in collaboration with UNICEF. The state government has been providing gender-based violence prevention and also sexual assault referral centers, where we have 5 in the state. I call on us today here to work together, scale up and project, promote impact. We must reach out to women across Nigeria to drive positive change in our communities. We must strengthen our collaboration, integration, partnership, and foster collective support for the Northwest region and Nigeria at large. In this juncture, I would like to congratulate Katsina State Government for coming on board on this Women Economic Empowerment Project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That has been the Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs, Kaduna State, with her success stories in Kaduna State on how women have been empowered by His Excellency Senator Obasani. May you please give her a round of applause. Thank you.
In different aspects, especially the most vulnerable among them, because it's a program that cares for women, and then it allows women to do things for themselves. They form themselves into organizations, and it provides capacity building, it provides solution to finances, it provides solution to marketing. So it's all encompassing, and these are the kind of project that we need, that is sustainable and that allows women to stand on their feet and be able to support the family. We just key into it because the state has already gone far in trying to see how we empowered women in most aspects, including we involve them in irrigation farming, backyard farming, and we also engage them in the rearing of goats, which is a major milestone of women. In that aspect alone, we empowered over 36,000 women across all the wards and villages in the state, and the selection was made purposely using the community level committees, and which is an indigenous committee that provide solutions to most of the problems in those communities, and a lot of other projects that we have done for women. We did a lot of empowerment for women and a lot of support for women, thousands of them, since when we came into power for the last 2 years. But the only difference between what we did to women and what the Nigeria for Women project is doing, this is a complete solution package that solves and provides solution to problems of women: marketing, financing, capacity building, organization, ability. These are all things that are put in place to make sure that, and we thank the World Bank for introducing this project to us, and those managing it, the TTL and the other staff that are managing it from the World Bank, and they have been giving us cooperation. The Ministry of Women Affairs, who have been steering the affairs, and the coordination unit in the ministry under the Nigerian for Women project, they are all doing their best. The whole team are doing their best, and we are proud to say that they are doing things, and we appreciate all their efforts. All we are calling now is that we will have synergy between the states, we will have synergy between different organizations we are putting up in the states, so that together we can help to build the state, to improve on the economy, to improve on their life expectancy, and also to improve on their general livelihood. I'm very glad with what the ministry is doing under the leadership of the Honorable Commissioner, and also what the project coordinator is also doing, and the team, because they have become a shining example among the teams from various states that have keyed into the Nigerian for Women project. So we are proud of the results we are getting. We are proud of they have changed the narratives in terms of the movement of the project forward. And I will say that we thank them very well. We are proud of them.
Great casino women, build the women, empower the women, support the women, ignore the women, and lose election. But I'm confident that our Northwest governors will not lose election, because they are supporting the women. And as long as you support the women will support you. You know, women, we don't gamble. In 2027, we're going to block our votes and give it to these governors and His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that they can be able to support us. Because I tell people, thank you, Excellency, that when we serve God, it's because we trust Him to answer our prayers. So politics is not religion. So we're going to follow who know road. We're going to support them so that we can be able to also move forward as women in Nigeria. Or leverage opportunities in the formal economy. Data from the Enhancing Financial Innovation Access to Financial Services in Nigeria survey in 2023 reveals a deeply unsettling reality. The Northwest region has the highest rate of financial inclusion amongst adults, with 47% lacking access to both formal and informal financial services. This gap limits women's ability to build resilience, to invest in livelihood and escape poverty. This highlights the severity of the exclusion, and it reinforces the urgency of scaling gender-responsive interventions like that of the Nigerian for Women. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, lessons learned from the Nigerian for Women pilot project will be sustained in the scale-up phase. This includes addressing social norms in our communities, formation and strengthening, improved saving culture, and women leadership and group governance. In doing so, we can become stronger as a nation, economically, politically, and socially. Goals, and that is what has brought us to Katsina State today. Thank you. In my role as the minister, I would ensure fidelity to the program's objectives, not just financial disbursement, but measurable impact for us all. Implementation must be rigorous, data-informed, and citizen-centered. Our partnerships with the state ministries and state project coordinating units and community stakeholders are structured for accountability and scalability. From the state governments, Your Excellencies, we expect sustained political will and timely release of counterpart contributions and strong leadership through your state's project coordinating unit. From our women beneficiaries, we expect commitment to the values of transparency, self-reliance, and collective progress. sun ce me kike so, sai ki bani dan jari da zan je in dan yi hayan gonan sannan kuma taki. To lokacin shugaban kasa ya bamu trailer taki mu kai jihohin mu, sai na ba ta taki guda 5 sannan sai na ba ta 500. Bayan watanni bai ma kai shekara ba, kawai sai ta min waya ta ce ai gashi nan na je na yi shuka shinkafa har ma zan girba, na samu buhu kusan 100. Kuma lokacin ba shinkafa ba kusan 100 ne. Sai ce to me zaki da shi, ta ce zan sai da rabi kuma zan ci rabi da ni da kuma mutanen anguwan mu gabaki daya. Su kun ga ba ma ita ba, gabaki daya anguwan su ma ba yunwa. Ashe ko lallai mata gatan kowa ne. To yanzu har ta fara ma ta sai kaji, yanzu ta ce mu ai yaran ta sai su ma in kajin suka yi layin kwai sai su ma dafa kwai 20 su ci a rana. So kuma ko insha Allah in muka haɗa kanmu za mu kori yunwa da babban sanda. To na gode muku, Allah ya muku albarka, to a huta lafiya.
Will be lifted by the grace of God. Your Excellencies, the Honorable Minister, at this juncture we are going to listen to the governors that are being represented at this important event. I would like
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, dan uwa abokin mai gidana Dauda, Dr. Malam Dukko Umar Rada, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Jigawa State, my good friend, Honorable Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development, the representative of Country Director of World Bank and other members of his team, Honorable Commissioners for Women Affairs here present, facilitators and participants, invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Almighty Allah for sparing our lives to witness this very important event. Wannan aikin da take yi da taimakon federal government da duk wanda ya sa hannun shi zai gyara ya zama to yanzu mata in kun yawa gida ya gyaru. Don ba tsegumi, ba hoda, sai da ayyukan alheri da taimakawa maza. Na gode kwarai. Allah saka muku da alheri.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State. Mu anan mun canza wannan slogan din. Allah kuwa. Ai matan suna kula da mu sosai. Yan kun yawa gida ya gyaru. Your Excellency, that has been the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State. The next, Your Excellency, I will invite, I'm afraid if he is from Hadejia, so I hope Your Excellency you are not from Hadejia. We are good to go. Your Excellency, I would like to use this opportunity to invite our very good neighbor, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, His Excellency Engineer Aminu Usman, Fellow of the National Society, Nigerian Society of Engineers. Your Excellency, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I'm here to represent my governor, the executive governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Enamadi FCA. He was supposed to be here today, but has traveled to Medina for the burial of Alhaji Aminu Ntata. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State and the Chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum, Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, heavily represented by the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, the representative of the World Bank, the Honorable Commissioners of Katsina State, Kaduna, my own state, Kebbi State, Zamfara Assembly. And this policy instruments are designed to protect and promote the right of women, children, persons with disability, and other vulnerable population in our state. On the financial commitment, a strong foundation. Our financial journey with Nigerian for Women project began with an initial of 50 million in 2022, and under the visionary leadership of His Excellency Malam Umar Namadi, an addition of 400 million was committed, bringing the total of 450 million, qualifying Jigawa for participation in the scale-up phase of the project. This position, Jigawa, as the only state in Nigeria implementing Nigerian for Women project, scale-up across 3 local government areas, namely Duse, Malamadori, and Kazaure in the state. The Nigerian for Women aligns seemingly with our administration 12-point agenda, which prioritize gender inclusive, poverty reduction, and sustainable livelihood. Central to this effort is the instrumentalization of Women Affinity Group, WAGs, to perform for collecting, serving, entrepreneurship, financial inclusive, and social empowerment of the 6,000 WAGs, that is Women Affinity Groups, to be established in other states. Jigawa is responsible for forming 1,200 targeting under served and unbanked women across the 3 local governments due to its commitment of 3.6 billion naira in its 2025 budget. Activities achieved so far include orientation meeting in Lagos, client connection in Abuja, fair learning visit in Ogun State, accelerating meeting for Nigeria for Women project, speed up, recruitment of state project coordinating unit, development of annual workshop in Lagos, inauguration of the state multi-sector coordinating structure, budget approval by the state multi-sector coordination structure, advanced advocacy visit in Jigawa, that is Dutse, Malamadore and Kazori of the 3 local government areas, approval of the 2025 annual workshop by the World Bank. The achievement reflects the serious commitment and readiness of our state. This project is now transmitting into a full implementation phase. By Allah's grace, the SPUCU staff will be participating in the Community Operation Manual Train at this July, which will mark the beginning of the direct community engagement works. Jigawa State Journey with the Nigerian for Women project is a testimony to visionary leadership, focused investment, and the strategic collaboration. We believe that empowering women is not only a moral imperative, but a necessary passport for achieving inclusive and sustainability development. As we all move into full implementation, we remain confident that Nigerian for Women project will transform lives of thousands of women in our state and other states in the northern part of the country, improving households, incomes, expanding access to finance, and enhancing social cohesion. On behalf of the government of Jigawa State and the good people of Jigawa, I express our profound gratitude to the host, the Katsina State Government, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, chaired by the Honorable Minister, and the World Bank, and all implementing partners for their continued support. May Allah Almighty continue to guide our efforts and grow them with success. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. To ni ma nakan so na yi magana a Hausa. Ina ƙara taya mata samun wannan dama da aka kawo mana a nan arewa. Ina kuma taya ita babbar minista ta mata da ta yi ƙoƙarin ganin cewa mata na arewa su ma sun zama kan gaba akan harkoki musamman na ci gaban al'ummar mu ta arewa. Ni ma dai na yarda in ba mata ba gida, in ba su ba ƙuri'a. Ina taya ku murna, Allah ya taimaka.
That has been the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, His Excellency Engineer Amin Usman, FNSC. Can we please give him another round of applause to appreciate him? We have had the success stories of women activities in Jigawa State under the able leadership of His Excellency, the Governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Namadi Muhammad, our good neighbor. Your Excellency, we have a few presentations to make, and after them will listen to the governor's voice. So may I quickly invite the SPC, Katsina State, the State Project Coordinator, Katsina State, to present the WAGs. The WAGs, Your Excellency, is WAGS, meaning Women Affinity Groups. There are groups of women that are brought together in a common trade, and the Ministry of Women Affairs is supporting them in that cluster of women. So the works will be presented by the State Project Coordinator, Haji Arabi Muhammad.
da haɗin kai za su yi zama ne kamar na koyon sana'o'i. Wannan su ne ake ce ma Women Affinity Groups. Ƙungiyoyi ne na mata da ake haɗawa masu sana'a iri ɗaya, wanda ministry ke ba su goyon baya karkashin shirin bunƙasa tattalin arzikin mata na mai girma gwamnan jihar Katsina. So babu lokaci, ku yi sauri ku dan shirya. While they are doing that, Your Excellency, I would like to recognize the presence of the Special Assistant to His Excellency, Mr. President, on Women Affairs, Hajiya Fatima Faruk Abubakar, you are welcome to Katsina. Yesterday to the President on Women Affairs, she had just come in and we would like to welcome her to Katsina. I would like to also, Your Excellency, recognize the presence of the Honorable Member and Chairman, House Committee on Women Affairs in the State Assembly, Honorable Aliyu Abubakar Al-Baba. He has been here with us since, Your Excellency. We also have the Honorable Chairman of the Municipal, Honorable Isa Mekdad, the Chairman of Katsina Local Government. He is also here with us. He has been shielded from me by the cameras, Your Excellency. I would like to fully recognize his presence. And may these gatherings wish to know that this activity is being run live. It's being transmitted live by the TVC News, KTTV, Katsina State Radio, Vision FM, and being streamed, transmitted on social media by mobile media crew, Katsina First, Katsina City News, and Katsina Trend. Your Excellency, this event is currently on the media I mentioned, and it is running live. So are you set? SVC, you have taken much of our time. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. Due to time, sir, I'm presenting to you a women affinity group that is named Alheri Affinity Group from Kayauki. Your Excellencies, I'm also delighted and honored to present this 3 weeks Women Affinity Group. This group was established after we have come back from Abuja for community operational manual training. We were asked by the task team leader to establish this work, and we should let them know the 7 non-negotiable principles of Nigeria for Women project, as well take them through the processes of savings within the group. Your Excellency, today, Alheri Affinity Group are going to have their 4th saving in their life cycle, and yes, they are supposed to save on Fridays, but for the purpose of this conference, they all agreed to save today as the day we mark this zonal conference, and as well, I will present what I have said in Hausa for the Women Affinity Group to start their saving, for our sister states to see how the process is being conducted within the Affinity Group. Thank you very much. So Alhamdulillah,
mai girma minista, mai girma gwamnan jihar Katsina, mataimakin gwamnoninmu da suka zo daga arewacin Najeriya, ina so in yi amfani da wannan dama don in nuna maku wannan kungiya wadda ake ce ma Women Affinity Group da Turanci, waɗanda muka zo bayan mun dawo com training daga Abuja, muka same su, muka gaya masu tsare-tsaren wannan Nigeria for Women Project. Akwai abubuwan da muke ce ma non-negotiable principles, mun masu bayanin su da Hausa cewa waɗannan tsare-tsaren dole sai an bi su. Kaɗan daga cikin tsare-tsaren nan shine matan nan suke zaɓar kansu da kansu. Babu wadda ta shigo cikin wannan ƙungiya ba tare da wata ta yadda ta shigo ba. Kun ga babu masu rikici, babu waɗanda za su ƙi zuwa su yi abin da ƙungiya ke so kenan. Sannan duka matan nan kowace ta kai shekara 18. Sannan su suka zauna suka tsara, muna tare da su nawa za su rika ajiyewa don su taimaka ma kansu da kansu. Har yanzu dai suna kan tara abin da suke tarawa a matsayin loaning funds. Akwai abin da ake ce ma what's the other funds? Social funds. Su waɗannan kuɗi ne waɗanda suke tarawa na taimakon kai da kai. Su ma su suka zauna da kansu suka tsara nawa za su rika ajewa. Wannan gabai nike amfani da wannan damai, zan je in samu shugaban wannan kungiya don in kai mata wannan abun magana, kuma mu tsaya mu kalla mu gaya za su tafiyar da wannan adana kuɗi nasu. Wannan dai akwati ne wanda mu muka kawo masu shi. Cikin akwatin akwai jikuna guda 3. Jikka ɗaya jajjikka ce. Wannan jajjikka saboda tsarin ƙungiyar ne dole duk shekara sai sun yi zaɓe. Cikin wannan jajjikka ita ce ake saka ƙuri'a a ciki. Akwai jikka mai tsawon kala